Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us today on InNetworkers. Today we have Vadim Sigal with us from Sigal Law Firm, and Vadim was actually one of our very first clients here. Vadim, thanks so much for joining us. I wanted to discuss a little bit about your career path and how you started. I mean, you called me and you just wanted one phone. I mean, I know you started in 2010, but even in 2017, I think you called me and it was one phone. And wow, I mean, you have really grown your firm, and I think you're up to 24. Let's welcome Vadim Sigal, everybody. Vadim, tell us a little bit about your journey to where you've come now.
Hey, Ilya, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate being on here with you guys. So just, I guess, kind of a background. Yeah, I did call you around probably 2017, somewhere around then, to, I guess, enhance my telephone system, internet systems. I started um, law school, right after undergrad. And in 2010, I got licensed as an attorney here in Michigan. For about a year and a half, I worked with a smaller firm, and we did a little bit of everything, some personal injury, some criminal law, some family law, and I got a feel for a bunch of different areas of law. After about a year to a year and a half, I went out on my own and started my own law firm. Um, when I started my law firm, my goal was always for it to be a personal injury law firm. Now, in personal injury, a lot of people don't know the way we get paid as attorneys in personal injury is when the client gets paid. Now, we don't sign up a client and get paid 30 days later or 90 days later. We sign up a client, they call us, we start a case for them. We may not get paid for 2 to 3 years after they become our client.
So how'd you do it? How did you start from the ground up? I mean, it takes so long to get paid. How were you able to manage this?
So when I started my firm, I was doing a little bit of everything. I was doing contracts law, I was doing family law, I was doing criminal law, a little bit of everything, because in those practice areas, you get paid right away. So my end goal was always personal injury. So I started, when I first got my own office, I made sure it was in an office that had other law firms. And this way I was able to network with all the lawyers, and I would go to each one of them. Hey, do you need help covering a motion? Do you need help covering a hearing? Do you need help covering a deposition? Can you refer some business to me? I do this. And it slowly started where they were referring business to me.
And you literally cold called them, right? I mean, you literally, from what you've been telling me, you just walked up there as a cold call and introduced yourself, right? That's kind of how you did it.
Yeah.
And you really hustled out there.
Yeah. And not just with the people that were kind of around me, but also I reached out to the top 3 personal injury attorneys in Michigan. And I said, hey, I just started an office. I know you have a lot of business. Can you send me some of your business? I met them and they started sending me business. Now, this has been going on already, where I've been getting business from, a lot of these attorneys for almost a decade now. So now, like I mentioned earlier, having personal injury as a end goal, you need to get paid today. So I was still doing a lot of stuff where I was getting paid hourly to be able to fund these cases, these litigation, personal injury cases going forward. And eventually we got to the point where I was filing cases and settling cases and filing cases, and then the ball started rolling where I was able to focus 100% on personal injury and, clear out the criminal docket, clear out the family docket, and attend basically 100% of my focus to personal injury. And it was about 2015 was when I hired my first, 2015 or 2016, where I hired my first employee. So for the first 4 to 5 years, I'm the CEO, I'm the attorney, I'm the janitor, I'm my own IT person. I am literally everyone. The phone call, I answer it, Sigal Law Firm. And that's kind of what you have to do, really not just a lawyer, but I feel like any business. It's people see the success when people have the name behind them or the business behind them, but they don't see step 1 through 10. They just see step 10. And they don't see the actual struggle of, working 7 days a week. A lot of people say, I want to be my own boss so I can pick my own work schedule. I actually work more as my own boss than I ever had working for someone else.
Absolutely.
So there's no such thing as a work schedule. It's your business is your life.
So what were some of the struggles you faced when you first started? I mean, you had to grow it all on your own. I mean, what were some of the struggles?
Yeah. So right away, like I mentioned, financially, any business requires upfront capital. So just working prior to that, just to even save up some money to be able to afford a lease, to be able to get a phone line instead of using my cell phone. Every little thing costs money. You don't realize it until you're actually buying every single thing. Computer, it's the softwares, it's literally everything. Then starting my own business, no one knows who I am. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people out there that have been marketing for decades and spending literally millions of dollars a month on marketing. That's the competition. And it's just about hustling and grinding. You have to run out there. You have to, there's no pride. It's what can I do to get business and grow my business and eventually make it better and better and better, where people now will call me versus calling one of the bigger name attorneys, or, still maintaining the relationships and doing the good work where some of the other attorneys or referral sources continue to send work to you because they're happy with the outcome and the result.
Awesome. That is quite a story. I mean, it's so amazing to see where you came from with, I remember it was one phone and it was just you and maybe one other person. Now we have 24 people. I mean, you really hustled. You really went out there and did it. And that's just absolutely amazing. Talk to us a little bit about the different personal injury cases you've had, maybe some funny ones, maybe some, I don't want to say funny, but, just tell us a little bit. What are some of the cases that you've had that are more memorable?
So primarily, we focus on automobile accidents.
Mm-hmm.
So, truck accidents. Nowadays, Uber and Lyft accidents are very common, where people are using these ride shares and they're getting into accidents. That's the majority of the cases that we handle. We also handle dog bite cases, slip and fall cases. So we pretty much try to handle almost like a full service of personal injury type cases. Like you said, right now, when I first came to you, it was, maybe me and one or two other people. Now, like you said, we have 24 people here. We have, you know, remote workers. We have virtual workers. We have in-office workers. I mean, it's a full operation at this point. It doesn't get easier. People think, the more successful I am, the easier it's going to be. But for me, it's every addition we bring on, it's a growing pain. It's every time you're expanding a business, there's growing pains involved. There's, like I mentioned in the beginning, we're getting paid 2-3 years out. In my line of work, obviously it's different everyone's line of work, but in my line of work, I get a case today, I don't get paid for 2 to 3 years. And if we're getting a big income or influx of cases, we have to upfront all the capital today to see a return in 2 to 3 years from now. So even going from 1 to 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 plus people every time, it seems like it's great. We're growing, but there's challenges every step of the way. And like with your company, like you said, I started with one phone, then there's more phones. Now you recently switched us to fiber internet because regular internet was slow for us.
Wasn't enough. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't enough. So it's, it's something that you don't even think that you may need, but as you experience issues, we're working on getting an entire IT department here, where before, IT guy right here. There's an issue, there's an issue with your computer. There's an issue with your computer. Hey, Vadim, how do I fix this?
Absolutely.
So it's stuff that you don't realize.
I apologize to cut you off there, but I really wanted to ask, and I think, our viewers wanted to hear, how did you overcome COVID? I mean, what was that like?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge for COVID was the support staff, for the support staff. I'm talking about receptionists, paralegal, legal assistants. For attorneys, it wasn't much of a challenge as far as my employees because they were always able to work remote. They're on the road, they're going to court, they're working on their laptops from home. So for them, it didn't really change much. They had capabilities, they had everything set up. The issue was for the employees that came in every single day, 9 to 5, that had their desktop computer, their desktop phone. So when COVID happened and people started going home, we instantly, what are we going to do? We gave everyone laptops and logged them into the system so they could work at least from home. We gave everyone with actually your telephone system there's software that
Right.
you could use it on your cell phone, and you're able to actually dial out from your cell phone, and it's dialing from the office line. Same
Yep.
thing if someone's calling in, you can just answer it from your phone. So a lot of technology changes. So we upgraded security, we upgraded case management software. So there's a lot that had to go in place to allow us to continue and streamline everything without any disruptions. And even to this day, like you and I are meeting right now via Zoom. 99% of our court appearances are via Zoom. Depositions, 99% are via Zoom. So COVID had a long-lasting impact on the legal field for sure, and I see that it's going to continue. Now, as far as the struggles during COVID, for my business, I mean, primarily my business is automobile accidents. No one was driving. There were no accidents. Phones weren't ringing. A lot of law firms that specialize in this type of work closed down. A lot of medical providers that treat automobile accident patients closed down. So it had definitely had a long-lasting impact for sure for that first year. Eventually, after that first year, it slowly started getting a little better, and now we're back to even better than we were, even before COVID. And with all the technology advances, we're able to actually be even more efficient today. And that's why we have some employees that are work from home full time, some that do a hybrid, some that are in the office. Now we pretty much offer that to everyone depending on how, their comfort level and their work capabilities. And with all the software, we're able to see that they're actually productive at home. I don't have to sit there anymore and see someone physically working on a computer to know that they're working. We see that there's progress outside of their office desk.
That's awesome. That's super cool.